Today we're looking at Psalm 86, a Psalm of David, and a slightly surprising one with a couple of lessons for us, because the answers to David's problems aren't what you might expect. David's problem here is that he's under attack again, and he needs support and help. He needs a listening ear. Incline your ear, O Lord, and answer me, for I'm poor and needy. I need someone. I need help. I need someone to listen to my problem. Preserve my life, for I'm devoted to you. Save your servant who trusts you. You're my God. Be gracious to me, O Lord, for to you I cry all day long. He's in trouble. He's in danger, and he's seeking God's help. Verse 4, gladden the soul of your servant, for to you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. He's in misery, he's depressed, and he wants gladness, joy in his heart, instead of fearfulness and depression and worry and so on. And that's at the beginning of the psalm, the nub of the problem, and then the problem is clarified a bit more. If we needed clarification, we know David's life, we shouldn't need it too much. But verse 14, O God, the insolent rise up against me. A band of ruffians seeks my life, and they do not set you before them. He's in danger, in physical danger from people who are after him and his life. This could be a number of occasions. It could be civil war after he's king. It could be Saul and his soldiers seeking David's life before he's king. Whatever, David is in physical danger, and he's low before God, and he wants to know that God hears him. He doesn't just want saving from danger. He wants, in some way, the relationship with God to be right, as well as his salvation, his protection to be assured, and his heart to be lifted. Well, fine. I want to be safe. I want to be sure. I want to be joyful. That'll fit in most contexts of life, won't it? And what's his answer? Well, it's partly that he meditates on the greatness of God. He doesn't meditate too much on his own need. Truly, he does call on God in his need. Verse 7, in the day of my trouble, I call to you, for you will answer me. But verse 8, the beginning of the answer, there is none like you among the gods, O Lord, nor are there any works like yours. All the nations you've made shall come and bow down before you, for you are great and do wondrous things. You alone are God. So he realizes that the answer to his problem is the greatness of God, not just the nearness. He's initially asking for the nearness, the listening ear, the protection, and so on, and the joy that knowing God can bring. But actually, the beginning of the answer is the greatness of God. He gets that right, and he has something to teach us. And then something more, one of the several wonderful verses of this psalm, verse 11. Teach me your way, O Lord, that I may walk in your truth. Give me an undivided heart to revere your name, to know God's way intellectually, to be taught God's truth, his commandments, and an undivided heart to know God deeply within, to revere your name. So instead of making the focus of his prayer, help me, Lord, the focus, help me because I'm in trouble, it's, Lord, teach me your way, help me to walk in your ways, give me a heart to love you and to follow you. That's the beginning of the answer. It's not take away my problems, God, it's put me right, God. Give me the mind and the heart to know you and to love you and follow you and walk your ways. That's the real answer that I need. Before save me, it's put me right. Wow. For great is your love towards me, verse 13. You've delivered my soul from the depths of Sheol. It's salvation, spiritual salvation, that's more important than physical salvation. Isn't that something special? There is so much in this psalm that's worth going back to. But then he goes on again about the danger that he's in verse 14. But then verse 15, you, O Lord, are a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. It's another of the wonderful verses of this psalm, verse 15. You, O Lord, are a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. David knows his real danger isn't that there are people out to get him. The real danger would be if God was against him. But he longs for his heart to be aligned with God's heart, for his mind to know God's ways, for him to walk in God's paths. And he knows that if he's right with God, then ultimately all is well with him. So verse 16, turn to me and be gracious to me. Give your strength to your servant. Save the child of your serving maid. Show me a sign of your favor, so that those who hate me may see it and be put to shame, because you, Lord, have helped me and comforted me. It's not, Lord, destroy my enemies. It's, Lord, save me, put me right with you, so that my godliness will put to shame. And the fact that you've saved me and called me and loved me will stop anyone from wanting to hurt me. His focus isn't on his need ultimately, except it's on his need to be right with God. And even in time of danger, the primary need, the real need, is for us to be right with God. May we have that heart too. Verse 11, teach me your way, O Lord, that I may walk in your truth. Give me an undivided heart to revere your name. And verse 15, you, O Lord, are a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. Lord, whatever our needs are in this world, whatever dangers and difficulties and depressions we may find ourselves in, Lord, help us to know you. Help us to be right with you, to walk in your ways and to know your salvation and your joy. Amen.